Check your hand. I think this yard is yours.
And saloons are outlawed. Only outlaws run saloons. In joints run by the mob, they sell not only booze, but entertainment as well. While countless performers like Sophie Tucker, Joey Lewis, Jimmy Durante, and Fat Swallow keep the old speakeasies jumping, Prohibition's marching to its end.
150,000 individuals who demand the return of beer. An endless procession. All day long, the tramp of marching feet echoes down the dry canyons of the big city.
13 years of Prohibition have backfired. Everything has gone wrong. People are drinking more, not less. Urban violence and public corruption are at an all-time high. The public is fed up with this so-called noble experiment. The mob's golden goose is about to be cooked. The Volstead Act is about to be repealed.
Now, word as to beer. I favor the modification of the Volstead Act just as fast as the Lord will let us. And of very, very great importance as a part of that. Remember that that is a way to divert $300 million or more by way of taxes from the pockets of the racketeers into the treasury of the United States.
Hear that tune? Everybody doing it pretty soon. Have me and you in it. It's the talk of New York. Then call popular court.
With repeal in 1933, the hard men of the mob do not enter monasteries or return to honest labor. Instead, they choose to live off the labor of others.
It was a year of labor unrest throughout the nation. On the West Coast, cannery workers staged a long and bitter strike that resulted in scores of injuries and one death. A shoe strike in Auburn, Maine, that brought out the National Guard after violence threatened.
The mob, looking for new scams, joins the battle. They start breaking heads. They work for the bosses, they work for the unions, and sometimes they work for both. Anything for a buck.
And every time a truck went by that had to make a delivery to a non-union shop, we threw stink bombs in there. Then the moving picture people, they went on strike. So we had to throw stink bombs in the moving picture. Then in restaurants. And we did it. We did good work.
One of the first gangsters smart enough to see the money in the labor rackets was Dopey Benny Fine.
My first job as a gangster was to go to a shop and beat up some workmen there. The man that employed me, a union official, offered to pay me $100 for my work and $10 for each of the men I hired. I divided them into squads, passed out pieces of gas pipe and clubs. We met the workmen we were after as they came home from work and beat them up. I was always busy after that.
Between the way of the mob in Prohibition and the way of the mob afterwards, after Prohibition, one was a situation where innocent people did not have to be troubled because it wasn't a crime to drink and you were their customers. They wanted to feast off you. They didn't want to hurt you. They killed each other for control of that. And all of them were in an illegal business killing each other. But then they got into the labor racket. And they used the gun the same way as they did before. This time, the victims were innocent people, very often good people, who would try to reform things.
There are two main obstacles to reform. Louis Lepke Buchhalter and his partner, Jacob Gura Shapiro. They take the labor rackets to another level.
These kids came from Europe. They didn't know how to read or write English. They had to be tough. They had to survive. I'm not saying what my grandfather did was right, but he did it, you know? He just did it.
The Lepke and Gura mob, what they did was they noticed something. This was Lepke, who was really a genius.
Lepke had 350 killers working for him.
He was a four-star general in the combination, and he had big rackets, and he had a lot of money.
He had Fat Charlie, he had Shear, he had all these guys working for him, so he could give a contract out to anybody.
And he was easily the equal of Luciano, Frank Costello, Niall Lasky, and bigger than Lasky for many years.
Lepke never let nobody cut in on him.
He was both in bootlegging and the industrial rackets before anybody knew about industrial rackets.
So Lepke, he'd go to this factory and he'd say, you got to pay me so much. He went to the truck driver and he said, you got to pay me so much. And if you didn't pay him, he'd kill all the merchandise. That was the garment war.
In the 30s, Lepke the brains, Gura the brawn, ruled the garment industry with one simple weapon: fear.
There were 50 trucks that took everything out of the garment center. And there was a little company union. They went in and broke a couple of heads, and they had it. And then if you wanted to ship, you had to come to Lepke and Gura. Or you couldn't get the stuff out. What good was it? Everything was shipped out of 50 trucks out of one place on 7th Avenue. Find the small thing. Find the vulnerability. If you can do that, then you have them by the short hairs, right? It's perfect.
Once in the door, Lepke and Gura worked both sides of the garment wars, extorting money from employers, skimming dues from union members. They do it the same way they rule the pushcarts on the Lower East Side. They break heads, torch shops, and Gura buries anyone who stands in their way.
My grandfather wasn't bad like some of these kids that just killed a foreigner on a vacation for no good reason. I mean, he killed for a reason. He killed somebody that bothered him or did something to him.
Once Lepke and Gura saw the garment business, they take their muscle on the road, seizing the bakery drivers' union, demanding a penny a loaf tax for every loaf of bread sold in New York. Other mob leaders move up the food chain. Joe Sox Lanza gobbles up the fish market. Tommy Lucchese moves into poultry. Around the country, gangsters are doing the same. In the mid-30s, the mob moves into Hollywood, shaking down the very studios that glorify them. The gangster's presence is everywhere. As the Illinois Crime Commission observes,
the following industries and services are known to be under the control of gangsters: laundry, ash and garbage removal, building wreckage, cleaning and dyeing, carbonated beverages, linen supply, motion picture operators, paving, teamsters, sanitary workers, building materials, railway express, dairy products, roofing materials, kosher meats, window washers, tobacco, garage, ice, excavating, ice cream, flour, coal, barbers, bakers, and 32 other industries, including beauty culture.
If a guy has a business, and you can see that you can walk in and get a piece of the business, it's nice to own businesses indirectly. It's nice to own a shoe company. It's nice to own a sock company, a pant company, or this company, or that company, or whatever. It's nice. Because, you see, if you eat from one table a week, you can only eat so much food. But if you eat from 5, 10, 12, 15 families a week, you're going to eat very well.